A teen driver in the line of fire.
The dad in me freaked out and said, "Get back in the car."
A Tacoma father walks us through the senseless shooting that traumatized his son. Running from the law with a baby on board.
He yelled out the window that he has a kid and he's losing control.
See how this hectic chase on I-90 turned into a family affair. Turning the tables on a driver that almost hit a deputy head on. And this chase highlights a new tool for cruisers in action. It's a full tank of cars and crime. So buckle up for tonight's Spotlight.
The Spotlight brought to you by Beacon Plumbing.
Well, hitting the road can be risky business these days, and I'm not talking about the chance of a crash. From carjackings to random gunshots, there have been several recent crimes across western Washington where innocent drivers were targeted. So good evening and thanks for joining us for the Spotlight. I'm David Rose, and we start in Pierce County where a dash camera captured the moment a 17-year-old narrowly avoided getting shot. Take a listen. That teen was driving near Point Ruston in Tacoma when out of nowhere, somebody in that passing car opened fire. The teen didn't want to go on camera, but the Spotlight's Jennifer Dowling spoke with his dad, who is shocked that such a random act of violence took place at one of the family's favorite spots to visit.
This is the sound of a gunman firing on Caden Wright from a car as the teen drove near the waterfront in Tacoma.
It's big, you know, I have pretty big hands.
Caden's dad, Kevin, showed us where the bullet tore into the frame.
So when they passed by, it came through this back here.
Kevin says the ordeal started after the 17-year-old who just got his license, got done studying for his college courses, and decided to head to the Fife Wendy's drive-thru on a fast food run.
He loves Wendy's.
After getting his nuggets and fries, Caden was heading to Ruston Point, and dashcam video showed him singing as he drove. A light-colored sedan suddenly came up, passing on the left, and without warning, a shot rang out. Caden says his ears rang, and he could smell gunpowder.
He said in between there, his ears were ringing, and he kind of squatted down, and then he just says, "What was, you know, what was that?"
After pulling over and seeing the bullet hole, he called home.
Called me and said, "Hey, I was just shot at." The dad in me freaked out and said, "Get back in the car."
Kevin says his son is focused on college and has no enemies.
To me, it's senseless violence, and I'm thankful that, you know, my son, you know, he's safe, he's all right.
Police hope to recover the bullet still lodged in the CRV.
And it hit the top, and the bullet's somewhere around in the chamber up there somewhere.
Although Wright patched the hole with duct tape,
we knew it was going to be raining.
Repairing his son's trust in others will take more time.
He hasn't driven since. He doesn't want to go on any night drives, so he's, you know, very traumatized by it. And now for me, it's just about making the public aware and making sure that they don't kill somebody.
For the Spotlight, I'm Jennifer Dowling.
So far, there have been no arrests in the case, and detectives don't have any suspects. If you know anything that could help identify the shooter or find their car, please call Tacoma Police. In Snohomish County, a routine workout at the gym turned into a nightmare on the road. And tonight, we're hearing from a man who says someone opened fire on his truck after he left the LA Fitness in Mukilteo. This video shows the damage to his truck from May 5th around 11 o'clock at night. The victim says when he left the gym, he noticed 4 cars doing donuts in the parking lot, and one of the cars ended up following him. He asked us not to show his face for his safety.
Followed me behind me, and then pulled to the side. When I looked on the side, they pulled the window down, and they pointed a gun at me, but they didn't say nothing. So I got scared, and I keep driving my truck. I went to my sister's house, and I called her, but she didn't answer. I called the police. They picked up, and then at the light, they shot at me, and they broke both passenger seats, and I got scared. I wonder who these people are.
He says the shooter was a passenger in the car. Deputies say one window was shot 4 times, but as you can see, it didn't shatter. They didn't find any shell casings, and that's led them to believe maybe a BB gun was used. The suspects are described as 2 white men in an older black lowered sedan. The victim in this case is Hispanic. He tells us their car appeared to be a Honda Accord race car with bright lights and tinted windows. If you have any information to help deputies find it, contact the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office or submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
An attempted carjacking caught on camera in Kent. Dash cam footage showing the terrifying moments as the driver realized he's being ambushed. This happened on May 9th, just before 10 a.m. Police say the man behind the wheel was driving to the Pacific Raceway for an event. He noticed another car following him. In the video, you can see the victim slow down to let the car pass, but instead, the suspects try to block him. 4 people with masks jump out of the vehicle. That's when the driver takes off and rams his truck into their car. Deputies say the suspects eventually left the scene. No arrests have been made. Detectives are working to identify the masked suspects. If you know anything about the incident or who's involved, please contact the King County Sheriff's Office.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now.
2 brothers arrested in 2 separate pursuits. And Washington State Patrol says in one of the suspects' cars, a passenger was holding a baby on her lap in the front seat. This all happened back on May 7th in eastern King County along I-90 near Preston. The driver of this silver Honda took off, noticed the silver Infiniti in front of him. Turns out the suspect's brother was behind the wheel. The silver Infiniti tried to keep the trooper away from his brother's car. They reached speeds of almost 100 miles an hour. Pieces of the Honda started to fly off onto the road. And that's when the driver took the exit.
He yelled out the window that he has a kid and he's losing control. We're in an off ramp. He's lost control face to
The Infiniti went around the Honda and sped off and left his brother behind. The Honda then drove back onto westbound I-90, but he was going the wrong way.
Okay, there it is right there. Okay, easy, easy. It's spinning out. Now it's facing the right way. It's in the ditch. Go, go, go.
Amazingly, no one was hurt, including the passenger holding that baby on her lap. As for the brother in the Infiniti, King County Sheriff's Guardian 1 helicopter was keeping a close eye on his every move.
Got the driver door open. Looks like passenger door open as well. Hands are up.
The 2 brothers were booked in the King County Jail on several charges, including felony eluding. Dashcam video showing how a chase ended on I-405 late last month. This started in Federal Way when that Mercedes swerved into oncoming traffic that happened to include a King County Sheriff's deputy. That deputy says if he hadn't successfully evaded the Mercedes, it would have hit him. The driver then took off, weaving at 80 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. As the chase led to the interstate, deputies deployed a new piece of technology in their toolkit.
Brenton, Southeast 159 and 140.
Reckless and on the run, this driver has multiple units on his tail. One of them was outfitted with Star Chase, a GPS tracking dart fired from the front of the cruiser.
109407. It's going to be my passenger side. Star Chase is deployed.
We showed you this technology here on the Spotlight back in April, as King County deputies tested the tech at Pacific Raceways in Kent.
We should actively pursue alternatives to things that are inherently dangerous. So I'm very happy that we're doing this today.
During this chase on I-405, Star Chase stuck the landing, but this Mercedes didn't make it much further. You can see that driver had his hands up as deputies swarmed in from all sides.
Open your door!
But wouldn't follow orders to open his door and get out.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
After the driver was pulled to the ground and cuffed,
handcuffs.
deputies say they found an open case of beer in his car. He was booked for DUI and attempting to elude. Well, since the King County Sheriff's Office started using Star Chase in April, it's been deployed 6 times, 5 of those successfully, with 4 resulting in felony-level arrests. Tacoma police are asking for your help to identify 2 CarProw suspects who were caught on camera. Detectives say one of them used the victim's stolen credit card to go on a shopping spree while she was at work. Here's a look at the white Ford Flex detectives say the man and woman are driving. Surveillance video from inside REI shows the man all masked up at the checkout counter where he used the stolen credit card to tap and then go. Their security camera got a good look at him as he left the store. You can see him looking into another shopper's vehicle when he got outside. He peers right in and walks by him. That's not normal behavior. And then he heads back outside towards the Ford Flex. Inside that vehicle was a woman, the same one who also used the stolen credit card, this time at a smoke shop where she bought a Monsters Inc. bong and paraphernalia. The stolen card was in a Louis Vuitton wallet that had fallen into a book bag on the floor of Alyssa's back seat. This is what she saw when she left work. Her car window shattered and glass all over the ground.
Pretty immediately, I started crying, which I think is a very reasonable response. I was just in shock. I was in shock that I'm in this building, in the parking, like right next to the parking lot, and I had no idea that my vehicle had been broken into.
Before she could cancel her card, the suspects also used it at Walgreens and Home Depot. Video shows them pushing a card out of the store. All told, they spent several $1,000s. Alyssa may not be the only victim. Tacoma police say another CarProw victim caught this guy in the act and took photos of him behind the wheel of the same Ford Flex. He's dressed in black this time, but police believe it is the same man, again wearing a mask.
It's obvious that they are trying to be out of the public eye, but I want them to be in the public eye. They've made me uncomfortable. They've likely made other people uncomfortable, and that's what I want for them, is to be in this uncomfortable position where they are being held accountable for their actions and all of the wrong that they are doing to people.
So take another look at the photos of the suspects. If you know their names, submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Tacoma Pierce County for a cash reward of up to $1,000. If you spot their white Ford Flex with a handwritten temporary tag in the back window, call 911. Now, this case is another important reminder. Always check and make sure you didn't accidentally leave anything in your vehicle. And if you're a victim of a CarProw, please file a police report. You can even do it online. The family of a Garfield High School student murdered on campus last year has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Seattle Public Schools. 17-year-old Amar Murphy Payne was trying to stop a fight he saw in the parking lot last June when he was shot and killed. The suspect has not been caught. The lawsuit accuses SPS of failing to provide a secure campus for students and blames open campus policies and inadequate security. The fight involved a former student who came onto campus, followed by two other men in sweatshirts. The former student started fighting with a current student. Amar was walking past the school's Performing Arts Center, heard the fighting, and turned around to try to break it up. That's when one of the men in a sweatshirt shot him. Amar's father says the school and Seattle police treated it initially like a gang shooting when it wasn't.
They didn't say it was a school shooting. They let Amar look like somebody, if you ask me, who deserved something brought to him that way. He was a kid, any other kid that came out of the school. That could have happened to anybody.
The lawsuit says Seattle Public Schools ignored obvious warning signs about gun violence on and around campus. It details an incident earlier that same day in which a student in a ski mask entered a classroom and shot a teacher multiple times with an airsoft rifle, then escaped. It says no staff called 911 to report it, as mandated by policy. The suit says Seattle police responded to at least 9 reports of dangerous weapons from 2020, when they banned school resource officers on campus, to 2024.
Just another thing that's happening around Garfield. Do you really want me to say, like, do you think that if that happened at O'Day High School, I ain't even gonna say the rest.
The lawsuit says the school had a duty to protect Amar from an armed intruder entering campus. Seattle Public Schools responded to the complaint, saying it's under review. The district went on to express heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Amar Murphy Payne and to the whole Garfield community. SPS says it will continue to offer assistance to police in the search for the person who took Amar's life. And meanwhile, detectives continue to ask for your help to identify this killer. Submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound. You can text the info through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. There is a $5,000 cash reward offered for information that leads to his arrest. A Pierce County mother charged with manslaughter following the death of her 5-year-old son. The medical examiner ruled Brentley Lawrence died from acute fentanyl toxicity back in March. Spotlight Shira Matsuzawa spoke with Brentley's aunt and grandmother, who say they're frustrated with the state.
This is a nightmare.
A nightmare Kelsey Osborne says could have been prevented. She's the aunt of 5-year-old Brentley Lawrence. On March 13th, court documents show Brentley's mom, Jordan Shank, found the 5-year-old next to her with vomit on him and not breathing. The medical examiner's office determined he died from acute fentanyl toxicity. Court papers show Brentley's mom used fentanyl the day before his death and described herself as an addict who used fentanyl twice a day. She even admitted to using it while pregnant.
I do not. Okay, face away from me real quick. I'm just going to pat you down.
This is video of sheriff's deputies taking Shank into custody.
The state failed him as far as I'm concerned. There were multiple CPS calls made. His pediatrician called, I called, the neighbors called, family members called, and to no avail.
Kelsey says she and another family member raised Brentley for the first 10 months of his life before he was given back to his mom. But she says she still helped co-parent.
I would like Brentley's death to not go in vain. I would like the state to make the changes they need to make to protect these children, because as of now, Brentley's just another tally mark, and that is horrific.
The 32-year-old pleaded not guilty to manslaughter in the first degree.
At the time of the child's death, the home he was living in had no running water and was in complete disrepair. There appeared to be human excrement in all of the toilets that were unable to be flushed, and dog feces throughout the house.
It's probably the worst thing that has ever happened to me.
Bonnie Johnson is Brentley's grandmother and Jordan's mother. She was also in court and says she's dealing with a lot of mixed feelings.
I don't hate my daughter. I love her. Am I angry? Yes, I'm angry my grandson is gone. But do you know anyone that's on drugs that has morals or makes right decisions? No, they don't.
For the Spotlight, I'm Shira Matsuzawa.
The judge set bail for Jordan Shank at $750,000. The boy's father has not been arrested or charged, but the investigation is not over. Detectives say he took off out the back of the home before they could interview him. A suspect has been caught in a case we featured previously on the Spotlight. It was a deadly hit and run in a Seattle crosswalk involving a motorcycle. King County prosecutors say the man riding that motorcycle was 43-year-old Tyler O'Brien. He has a lengthy criminal history. In fact, he was a Washington's Most Wanted capture back in 2018 for a home burglary in Linwood. In this new arrest, he's accused of hitting Min Wong and her husband, Sing Chen, in a crosswalk at MLK and Alaska Street back on April 18th. Wong died a few days after the crash. Chen suffered a spinal fracture. Prosecutors say O'Brien ran several stop signs and red lights before hitting the couple and then just kept on going. After the crash, prosecutors say O'Brien drove home and hid the motorcycle underneath a cover. Days later, someone spotted the motorcycle abandoned at a lot in Rainier Beach. Police eventually matched it to O'Brien and arrested him. He's facing charges including felony hit and run and vehicular homicide. He's being held on $500,000 bail. Washington is taking new steps to crack down on habitual speeders. Governor Ferguson recently signed a bill into law that will require speed limiting devices for drivers with a history of excessive speeding. As the Spotlight's Albert James reports, the bill was inspired in part by a horrific crash in Renton last year.
What's behind this bill is, of course, a really simple goal, which is to save lives.
Under House Bill 1596, a person would have an intelligent speed assistance device installed on their car after getting their license suspended for reckless driving or excessive speeding, or if they've been ordered to have a device by a court. The device uses GPS technology to limit the car's acceleration so it can't go above the posted speed limit in the area it's in.
I can push my foot on the pedal as hard as I want to, and it just can't. It truly is technology that will save lives because it stops speeders in their tracks.
Democratic Prime Sponsor Mari Levitt says the law is a necessary step to curb a troubling increase in fatal accidents. State data shows fatal crashes have been on an upward trend since 2019, with a growing number of them involving speeding.
We're trying to save our neighbors from losing a loved one, or a parent from losing a child, or a child from losing a parent.
Levitt was particularly moved by a crash in King County last March that killed 38-year-old Andrea Smith Hudson and 3 children. Chase Jones, 18 at the time, was accused of causing the crash by driving well over 100 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. He was sentenced to over 17 years in prison last month.
For our situation, 4 lives could have been saved with this technology.
Smith Hudson's father, Ted, says he thought it would take years for the bill to make it into law, and the families forever changed by the King County crash are relieved to see positive change come from tragedy.
I don't know how you move forward except just put one step in front of the other and try to make our streets safer any way that we can.
The law was named the BEAM Act, an acronym for the victims killed in last year's crash in Renton: Boyd Brown, Eloise Wilcoxon, Andrea Smith Hudson, and Matilda Wilcoxon. The BEAM Act goes into effect in January of 2029.
I am a long-time, all my life, Seattleite, and I know who J.P. Patches is. And Gertrude.
His face is supposed to be white, with the red lips and the red nose.
We have to fix it.
A statue of Seattle's most famous clown has been defaced by a vandal. We're talking about J.P. Patches, the star of a show that ran from the late 50s to the early 80s. The statue of J.P. Patches is located in the Fremont neighborhood. On the left side of your screen is what the statue is supposed to look like. On the right is what it looks like now. Someone covered its face with black paint. We spoke with the operator of jppatches.com. He tells us fans of the clown, known as Patches Pals, will likely rally to repair the statue.
I raised funds for the last restoration of the statue about 3 years ago, and we raised funds for these pavers that are surrounding the statue.
We also heard from the director of the Fremont Sunday Market, who's making plans to help with the restoration.
We've just been spitballing, but we want to find a way to help fix JP Patches.
Ryan tells us there are tentative plans to host a parade benefiting the statue, but a date has not been set just yet. Well, that does it for us tonight on The Spotlight. Be safe out there. Until next time, I'm David Rose.